along the tangent. In today's video, we're going to be learning about how to draw and learn the anatomy for the torso. This is for artists, so let's jump into it. If you want to follow along step for step of what I'm doing and the resources that I use for all of these different exercises and stuff, I have linked the images below. Really good resources there, and they're free to use. No copyright claims on them, so feel free to follow along step for step if you want. First, let's actually take a look at what the skeleton looks like for the torso. This is really important. So as we can see, there are basically three main parts to the torso. You have the rib cage, the spine, and then of course the pelvis. Three things. That's all you need to know. It's really easy. It's not as difficult as it looks. Like, it's just one big chunk of block. Like, if you took away your arms, your legs, and your head, you'd just be left with like this block. It might be chiseled or it might not be chiseled, you know? You know what I'm talking about? Those people who go to the gym 24/7, they just have like this chiseled body. Or there's the average people, you know, that like to sit home and enjoy like a bag of chips. You're chiseled! No, I'm like a string bean, really. Anyways, three different parts, one big block. You get the idea, okay? One really helpful thing to use as you're like exploring different motions and stuff, or before we even like jump into everything, is to get you can even look up online. I'm sure there's like these 3D mannequins that are free for use. You can like pose them in different things. But I have one of these guys. He moves. What's up? But these are really helpful because then you can remind yourself. I use this a lot for references, or when I'm just wanting to remind myself. Like, even you can see right here, you literally just have like the rib cage, where like he can twist and stuff, and then the pelvis. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. It's really easy. It's not that challenging, but it is super important. So for this video, now we can finally get into the tutorial part of like what you're going to be drawing and how to draw literally everything step for step. We're not going to get into too much detail today, just because the torso can get very detailed. But we're just going to keep it very simple today. Nothing too challenging. Very simple. Simple shapes. Okay? Simple shapes. That is the key word. Got it? Get it? Good. Alright, so first, you're going to start off with a simple line. It is the key to everything in life. If their body is going that way, boom, you got a line that's kind of curving. Or maybe they're doing like a back bend or something. Then you got, he doesn't twist that far. But you get the point. Why not? I'm just gonna hold you now. You're like my little art child. Then you're going to go into the second part, which is the rib cage. There's kind of like two methods to this. You can either A, go with my method, which I just like to draw a three-dimensional box, like a cube, basically. It really helps with perspective for me. I just like to think of things in a form, aspect kind of a way. Or you could go the egg shape route. And then finally for the pelvis, I will add a little triangle. You can again go with the egg shape, but up to you. You have a rough sketch of everything. Then I will I'll kind of erase everything, kind of not. Yeah. After you have this down, I will then go into with a pen and just try to get more of what the shape of the ribs are, and then I'll add like a thicker line of where the spine is at. And then finally the pelvis. The pelvis is really easy. If you just think of it like a triangle, but then it has like a hollowed out triangle in it, that is really easy. Very easy. And then there you go. You have your first like tiny little study of the torso. Ba-da-ba. Good job. You did it. Now let's review again. How do we do this? It's easy as 1, 2, 3, okay? You draw a line. You got your box. Number 3, you draw the pelvis. Upside down triangle. Upside down. And then you go into it with more detail. And look at that, you're like a pro now. You're a pro at the torso. You knew you had it in you all along. One really important note to remember in the future when you're drawing like different genders and stuff, the pelvis is different in sizing. So keep that in mind when you go forward. Now, my little art child, we are going to go into the muscle side of things. Alright, again, we're going to, as the second part of the muscles and everything, you're going to start off with like your basics here. So this is why we started off learning the torso with a box and an upside down triangle, because that's how you're going to start off. You're going to start off with the line, your box, your triangle. After you have all that, then you can go into the muscles that lay on top of that. This is like a very good example of how you can make your artwork going forward. When you're starting character designs or digital art characters, or you want to do like more traditional figure art stuff, like anything figure related, even if it's not non-realistic. If it's realistic, obviously you want to get proportions right and everything, but being able to have like a set goal of how to like draw everything, this is a really good, what is it called? This is a good way to go about it, okay? You build upon everything else. Obviously, your muscles in the front, you have the chest, you have the abs, even though most people, you don't see the abs. That's really important to remember. And then, as we go into the back side, for muscles, the back I feel like is a lot more complex in its subtle ways, just because, like, again, your torso can twist and turn and curve and all that jazz. Going on to the back muscles, you really have two main muscles. You have your muscles that are at the top. It's like this big triangle or diamond. It just flows really easily. After you see it, you just don't forget it. That's how it was for me. And then of course you have muscles that go from your sides to your lower back. It's really helpful to challenge yourself to use reference photos where people are not just standing and using their muscles. So that's why I used the last reference photo that I have in the description box, just to get you looking at the muscles that are there. It's really helpful to see that instead of just copying an image of an artist that drew out the anatomy itself. Like, challenge yourself a little bit. It's going to help you, and it's going to make you learn things a lot faster and just remember things, honestly. And that, my friends, is how I learned to draw the torso. And then of course I added in pen again, and then at the very end I decided to go in with a little marker marking stuff. It's really helpful just because it makes it a little bit more fun to remember, and that's how I like to study as an artist. And yes, it is studying. You study as an artist. That is it. I hope that you learned something about the torso here. You know, I highly recommend taking some time and at least doing one skeleton drawing of the rib cage. That is really, really helpful. And like writing down notes of like specific bones. Like I write down about the clavicle and the sternum. That is really important. Something people don't typically like remember or use as like measurement points. It's really helpful for those different kinds of things. But anyways, this is like a really good starting point. Or if you really don't want to learn more about like anatomy stuff and you just want something that's really simple, I really think this is a good starting point. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, learned something new. Hope y'all are doing great. Having a good day. You know, the vibes. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!